Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blackout Gaming TV. Tonight we have for you the final of the Premiership qualifiers for ETF2L's Season 9 of Highlander. For those of you who missed the action on Wednesday, my team Strong Opinions won the other match against TC Express, taking the first spot, while Lotus Munching Angels beat Danger Gummy Bears for the right to play the experiment in tonight's game. The winner of this will take that elusive final spot. I'm CeeJaey, and with me tonight is the Potato Man himself, Admirable, with JoeN on production and camera. Admirable, how you doing tonight, man?
I am doing swell. I thought I was super prepared for this when I'd gone and actually downloaded Wormtic, but I had the wrong version, so I've just downloaded it again. I'm flying around the map right now, and it looks kind of familiar. I feel like I might have played it once in the past, but generally I have no clue what's going on, CeeJaey.
Well, this map was Arctic. Do you remember the map Arctic?
I do not.
Okay. Well, it's a warm version of that, so no snow. But we do have both teams looking like they are ready in the server now. So we can go over the rosters if you want. I mean, how much do you know about these teams, if at all, Admirable?
Absolutely nothing.
That's
I recognize
fine.
some of the names, you know, but I don't know anything about the teams, their stories. That's why you're here.
Well, we can start off with the experiment, formerly known as Failure. They've been around for the past 3 or 4 seasons. Admirable, you probably know one of the leaders, JoeN UFC, Demo Man, and played with It's All Good when they reached the final back in Season 6 against Highlander. And pretty much him and his better half, Layla, on the medic are the core of this team, and pretty much the only two who've been around since the start. It is kind of an ever-changing roster. But their lineup for tonight, and I believe for the rest of the season, they've got Bloodis on Scout, Kaneko on Soldier, XD is the Pyro, Roban, the famous medic from Chess Club's winning season in Season 8, is on Heavy. Ekeland is playing Engineer. I don't believe he's the main. I think Calicul or Bijlo, whichever one, the Swedish Engineer is their main. Later on the Medic, Milchman is on Sniper, and Chupa on the Spy. And it does look like we've gone live now, so we'll come over the LMA roster later on. They're in red with Experiment in blue, and Admirable, do you want to take away this mid-fight?
I'm watching Joe trying to work his way forward onto the point here, but he gets momentarily pushed back. Meanwhile, Kramer jumps up, kills off their Milkman, and it seems like we're going to see a little bit of a retreat here from LMA.
Yeah, I mean, Milchman went down quite early on there, and the Experiment really didn't feel comfortable with the sniper disadvantage, and once Roban went down, they got the hell out of there straight away. So the first mid-fight does go to LMA with pretty good ground control already. They've got players in the right positions. This crate on top, this blue crate for LMA is going to be absolutely key, but the backstab comes in onto Milchman, takes down the sniper once again. Ubers are traded on the point. Lots of flashes in coming from the Experiment. They are putting XD, who is just chasing this medic. Surely he's going to go down, and Arcades does go down to the shotgun, and Experiment do win that fight with keeping their medic alive as well. Admirable, that is going to be key, and LMA losing a lot of players there.
Point changes hands, and it looks like it's gonna be in their control for some time. I do see Kaneko on the field here getting a buff. I noticed in the Team Fortress TV event thread he was really praying to the TF2 gods that he might be able to make it into the Premiership division this season. So he's doing his best right now, trying to spam that black box, but his health is super weak. But the Milchman is going to find that headshot on the Kalis, so the damage potential here for our red team is severely
big
reduced
headshot
right
from
now.
Thazu takes down Layla though. Sorry to interrupt, but Layla had a massive advantage. I'm not sure if that was a drop or not, but Layla does go down, and that's no medic for the Experiment now, and 80% in the hands of Arcades. Surely him and the rest of his team are starting to move forward towards the point as X-Wing is on the Heavy, starts to move forward, but does get taken down with a headshot from Milchman, and at the moment with Layla also going down, Milchman going huge. The German sniper picking up some key picks there, and that's totally stunted LMA's push. Have to wait for their heavies to get back up before they take this point. But this is looking good so far from the Experiment, Admirable. Even with the disadvantage, they've kept control at this point pretty well.
Yeah, they're doing everything right, just playing behind the point, forcing Lotus Munching Angels to come at them, and they're going to push in from underneath. The Uber gets popped off here. And Leela is nowhere near getting a charge and will be gunned down there, just slain in front of the point. And that's going to be 7 players going down in that engagement. Incredible push coming up there. And we're going to see the point changing hands, but there's about a minute to be made up here. They need to put up a solid defense now.
Yeah, it's all about getting your players in the right positions. We can see Ekman putting a mini sentry on that little bridge, and he's controlling this top area, and you really don't want someone just getting free spam on your medic, as he is doing. Takes a pipe and has to back off, but he gets that spam. You need your soldier to be stood up there, as Thazu gets the headshot onto Milchman, winning that sniper battle this time around. But then you can see, in comes Kaneko. He just gets so much damage down onto the combo from LMA. They have to back out, even though they haven't lost many players. They've had to back out just purely out of that spam that's coming down on them from that top right area. They really need to get someone, maybe their soldier coming needs to do a bit of work up there. But they do come back in. The Uber is used. Takes down Roban. And XD in the pipe from Kalis. Takes down Layla. Medic down again for the experiment. 10-second respawn for her. And as they come across the 1 minute 30 mark, they may be able to take this lead before Layla even manages to respawn.
Kalis was super thirsty for that frag onto JoeN UFC, but does manage to complete the couple kill. And right now, no demo mana for either side. Actually, Joe just coming back on the field as I say that, with that superior spawns for the attacking team. And they're going to be moving on to the point immediately. Already we see X-Wing trying to move forward here with Arcades onto that point. But they're just already down players here. Kalis was late into the fight. He's only now starting to put out that damage. And you see the cap coming in, but their Milchman is down in a minute, so a little sniper advantage here. Thazu with the opportunity to get a little aggressive. He's trying to walk forward, see if he can find a hero headshot. He sees the heal beam of Layla, but she's not going to show herself. And it seems like this attempt at aggression is just going to be pushed back with ease.
Yeah, it was kind of like they were just tickling the point a little bit, but they had no support from the rest of the classes. And the combo of Kalis and X-Wing go down there. But Arcades did survive, went down to quite low, he's down to 36 HP. But does manage to stay alive with that 90%. So it's going to have Uber, and it's going to be another Uber versus Uber exchange on the point soon enough, I expect. Layla and Roban are holding in their own sort of elbow banana area. Which is pretty well protected, but the Uber's used really early onto Kalis. It's flashed a lot. Blues gets a flash, trying to go forward, but doesn't manage to get any kills. And the Pirate's trying to push people off the point. But it looks like Experiment, no kills went down from either side there. Thazu dominating Milchman though after that Uber. But now LMA coming in after the Uber. This is a really good for pushing them. They're getting so many players on the point. Roban goes down to Blues. X-Wing does strike for it though, but lots of kills coming in favour of LMA. And it looks like Experiment are going to have to back off here and fight another day. Although Layla gets body shot from Thazu and Joe gets backstabbed, and that's going to be huge, Admirable. I mean, they've got 50 seconds, otherwise it's round over.
A complete wipe. The 9 blue players slain. And now they're all just getting back on the field. Kaneko's going to jump up top and try and spam down there, but immediately contested by Kryma, who's trying to build up that conch once more. Their Milksman is going to get picked off though, so again, no sniper available here. And the Uber charge is available for Arcades. It looks like they're just waiting for the opportune moment. They come in from the flank now, from that right hand side. They're trying to catch as many players as possible, but Joe has survived thus far. Oh, just as I say that, he goes down. If he managed to stay alive, he could have been able to come into all those clumped up players, but doesn't make it happen. Prime is up above now. He's going to come in from behind onto Milchman and Leela if he wants to, but I don't think it's even going to matter. Can he throw any bodies on the point here to cap it? The Reflect coming in onto XD, going to push him back. He's insistent that they must get some time on the point here though, and they're trying to turn it into a real scrappy fight, but they just don't have the numbers.
Wow, first round goes to LMA on the Experiments map pick. We'll talk about the map picks later on, I guess. I'll quickly run over the LMA roster before we get started. We've got the American Blues is playing Scout, Kryma on Soldier, Jedi Flamaster on Pyro, Kalis, the old chess demo man on Demo. X-Wing is backing up for them. He is playing Heavy today. Bam on NG. Arcades is the Medic. Thazu on Sniper with Elazul on Spy. And that first round going to LMA. Big jump in from Krymer. Gets a lot of damage onto the combo. Layla is so weak, down to less than 10 HP. She has to back off and grab that health back. Gets a sandwich instead. But just forcing her back has meant that Experiment couldn't get onto the point. But the big double backstab from Elizabeth on Roban and Joe. And then Blues comes in and cleans up Layla with the pistol. And Eklund is the only survivor of that mid-fight. He's trying to hightail it out of there underneath. But that is pretty much a wipe, Admirable, from LMA. This is looking really dominating from right now, as they win the mid-fight, and they've kept their medic alive with 100% Uber.
Yeah, they really seem to have figured out their approach on these mid-engagements, and they are kicking things up into 5th gear, but the response from Layla is to whip out the Kritzkrieg, so we might see an attempt at force here onto Arcades, try and get that pop out so they can then re-push with the crits, but it's going to be the Experiment looking to make it happen, and they do get that Uber pop out, but Joe gets separated, forced underneath. He's about to be taken out by X-Wing, but Leela survives and does have 75% crits, but no Demo Man here to use it. But it's probably not going to matter because there's only 2 players actually here to contest the point at the minute. Spawns are coming in slowly but surely, but it will be the Experiment taking control of the timer and the point.
I think there's a little bit of inexperience there from LMA as they used the Uber to block the point, which was wise. It was a smart decision. But then they just kind of got the medic in their sights. It was just tunnel vision as they just ran forward, all holding W. Didn't really worry about dying, and then they all died and gave up the point. The Uber is used onto later. Sorry, the crits takes down Thazu, takes down Blues and Jedi for the Master. That's a 3k for Joe. Takes down the engineer as well. Bam going down. Didn't even try to dodge that sticky, but doesn't get the medic. Arcade survives. He has that 60% Uber right now. And if he builds this smartly, he's going to get Uber before Layla even gets crits. And as we all know, Admirable, if you're going to use Uber into crits...
That's a lot! Trooper manages to get the backstab onto Arcades there. Medic down right now for LMA. So they might just be going to... a little bit of a sketchy play here. Try and throw some players in to see what they can get done. They're contesting the point here. Just feeding the Experiment, but... they're actually just going to be able to use that aggression and numbers to take the point back. There is another crit available for Lila right now though, but Joe is down. Once that Demo Man is going to feel that I expect to see more crits action, but will LMA be expecting it?
They should. I mean, if they're smart, they should know that Layla will have crits by now. I'm sure they're counting Ubers at this level. And the crits does come in, takes down Blues. The medic is still too far, and he's going to get caught by the second sticky. Arcades is down again. And 4 players down now for LMA, and Experiment are just going to take back that point. Only about 15 seconds got taken off there for LMA. So they are slightly in the lead right now, but surely Experiment are going to overtake this in a matter of seconds. And Bam goes down there to the body shot of Milchman, who's been doing some work at Admirable. I mean, both snipers have been doing work. It just seems that LMA have been on Milchman more than the other way around, and Thazi's got a bit of a more free reign to do what he wants.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be a high priority target for the mirror, although there he just gets pistoled as he tried to retreat. But I mean, the Kritzkrieg switch up in an inspired decision here from Layla, and now who's looking to move forward to get that crits popped off of him, but just gets backstabbed right at the moment the crits was about to come in. Layla's going to go down as well to the pipe from Kalis, and I think LMA have finally woken up to that crits threat. They've dealt with it effectively. And it looks like they're going to be able to hold on to the point here with little trouble.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see when a team's running crits. If you see that crits being popped onto the demo, just jump into his face. Last thing he wants is to deal with players right in front of him. He wants to be able to aim those stickies at the medic or another priority target. But no, everyone got in his face. He went down early on. And that pipe from Kalis taking down Leda means Arcades is now at 100% Uber. The conch is used by Krymer. They're just going to defend the point. But in comes Kaneko. Forces that Uber. It is flashed quite a lot, but that Pyro there, XD, is just going to deny them getting forward. Does go down for it, but I think he'll be happy as Layla has survived. It's at 75% now, still running that Kritzkrieg, and she's going to want to keep Joe alive so he can actually use it to take back this point. I think we're going to be seeing crits any second now as it does come across the point. The first one hits X-Wing, takes so much damage, gets finished off by Roban, but Arcades has managed to escape. Bam goes down again to the crits, body shot onto Krymer from Milchman, and pretty successful for the Experiment, but once again it's that medic that they didn't get, and Arcades is going to have Uber advantage again.
Yeah, this back and forth is going to favour them as the clock ticks down. There are only 27 seconds left once the point changes hands again. So if this Uber push is successful, then they're really going to be up against it. They're going to have to make the play without charge. Just rely on their focus fire, teamwork. The Uber getting popped off here. Kalis is trying to push forward. Joe is in his sights. Joe's going to jump back on the sticky towards spawn there, but here comes the cap, and it's now all on the experiment to come up with the goods. They've got a lot of people down right now, but those fast spawns coming in to help them. 15 seconds remaining here. They're trying to make a go of it. Roban walking forward, but he's that threat of crime. And Kinect's going to jump up and deal with that soldier on soldier action, and experiment are now trying to get across that point. The announcer's calling out those low digits. They're starting to get the cap. They found 5 frags throughout that as well, and it looks like they will just about get it, and they have a crits as well. This is going to be really tricky for LMA to do.
Yeah, they need to be smart here. That was really good from Experiment. They just, it's equal Ubers. You have all your players up. You have that spawn advantage. Like you said, you just need to walk on there. But they do have an Uber to contend with. The crits comes in, takes down 2 players. Takes down Kalis. How did Kalis get dropped in that? That was a huge mistake there. And the Uber is used onto the point, but they've lost so many players in this push that it's all up to Experiment now to just bait them onto the point and take them down. So many players going down. Dazi with the headshot onto Roban, but X-Wing and Elazar also go down for LMA. And Bam gets backstabbed by Chupa, and it looks like Experiment may be able to win this. They've got 4 players alive, but the better respawns are in the hands of LMA now, but they're not using them effectively. Kalis goes down, Arcades goes down to Bloodis, and they do have time on the point, but that double overtime is going to go to Experiment, and they are going to claw a round back here, Admirable, and this is much closer than I expected.
Yeah, that big preemptive crits was beautiful. I mean, it can often be a fairly effective strategy if you just see a clump of players. Go ahead, use your crits, even if they have Uber. They're probably not going to be able to save everyone, but that really shut down the momentum for Arcades and their combo. But here we see Kryman with the fast bombing, trying to get directly onto Leela, and does just that. Big med pick coming up right at the start of the round, and Arcades is looking fairly safe. Curse of the caster, as I say that. Their remote's gonna dome him, and the counter frags coming in here thick and fast. LMA will not be taking control of this midpoint.
No, big round there. Big mid fight. From Experiment. I think the first mid fight they've won. I don't know. I've got a terrible memory, but they seemed quite dominating on that one compared to LMA's success in the last round. In the mid fight, but it does mean Layla has this advantage. It's back onto the Medigun, so at 50%, Arcades respawning with Medigun as well. So advantage that LMA are going to have to deal with sooner or later. Are they going to have to force or just start going now? As Kramer jumps up, gets some good spam down onto Roban. He's going to get caught out of position here, surely. Does get gunned down there by X-Wing. That Tomislav does mean you can spam from a further distance now, but Krymer, Elazar, Blues all going down. LMA pretty unsuccessful. They did get Layla, and maybe that's all they wanted to do. I mean, they've got Uber advantage to play with now, but it is going to come around with a minute deficit, Admirable, and Experiment looking comfortable at the moment. Oh no, sorry, as I said, Neko comes in and takes down Arcades. This changes everything that I said, so I'm wrong.
After that hard-earned med pick by Thazu, the protection just wasn't good enough there on Arcades. Neko comes in like outnumbered 1-5, somehow gets the med pick. But it's just turning into a real scrap here around the point. Teams are having no respect for the heals differentials, they're just going for it. And we're going to see LMA grab control of the point quickly. I mean, slightly passive play at the minute from Leela because she's working on building that crits up and also waiting for Joe to get back in the field, but momentarily we may see another crits Demo Man push coming in, and they've been fairly effective so far.
Yeah, I mean, having played against this team so much over the past sort of 12-18 months, I know how much they do enjoy crits. They use it on all sorts of maps. But Leda gets pressured here. She's down to 50 HP. He's on that crit, so even if she pops it, she's not going to stay alive. Does manage to back out. There is a sandwich on the ramp. It's almost baiting her. She does pick it up back to 150 HP. Arcades. Oh, they get taken down by the crit stickies. Kalis and Arcades both going down to that first stick coming out from Joe. And that is going to be total advantage now for the Experiment. They have the point. They have their medic up. Almost gets backstabbed by Elazar, but he misses it. on the point, and he's going to have an advantage again as Arcade's died from that, and Experiment starting to kind of assert their dominance on this map. Now this was their pick. They do feel that they can win on this map. They kind of think they had the DM advantage, I'm expecting, based on their experience, and LMA got to do something in this round to turn it around.
Oh wow, Layla gonna get hit. Body shot there by Thazu, so the crits threat has been taken out of the equation for the time being. Arcades is cracking the whip here, urging Kalis and X-Wing forward onto the point. Joe's gonna go down, so does Bloodus. A lot of high damage classes missing for the foreseeable future, and the cap is gonna come in there. Layla on the respawn, gonna stick with the crits. I think that's the right decision here. It's proved to be a game changer for them. After the initial round, it has certainly changed their fortunes, and they currently have a commanding lead in the timer here, but they're not even going to wait for the quits. They're just coming in here trying to get that foresight, and Arcade is being juggled into the corner here by XD, unable to actually use this Uber to keep Kalis alive, and he just didn't seem to get the memo on that one. Tried to go forward even though his medic was screaming for help. Arcade survives, but it's without charge now, and Leela on 80% crit streak. It's rapidly increasing though. And again, it's going to be the Joe and Leela show as they move forward here with this crits. Crime is doing the best to try and force it out, and he does get it done. Survives, kills off Leela, in fact. Huge play there with that solo conk play.
That was amazing by Crimer there. I was just going to say, all that LMA need to do as soon as that crits is popped, just to jump into their faces, but Crimer just does it by himself and take down Layla just with the black box on the conch there. So advantage again in the hands of Arcade. He's at 90%, going to have that Uber any second now, and it's not like you can just jump in the face of that. I mean, you can force it, but you can keep his teammates invulnerable and alive. Coming up to the 1 minute mark for them, they still have the advantage here in terms of time, but Joe's just walking across the point, takes down Thaz. He shouldn't be allowed to do that, but Layla gets backstabbed by Elazul, and Experiment lost quite a few players there, but they retain half cap time on the point. Joe is still battling, trying to land some of those pipes, and LMA aren't giving up. This is so close on the point. LMA surely should just back out now and re-push with the advantage, but they're deciding to stay on the point as Layla has respawned, meets up the rest of her team. Joe is down, but it looks like Experiment maybe able to just recap this for free.
Looks like it. Kaneko jumps up to try and see what's coming, but immediately gets headshot there by Thazu. We do see Experiment taking control of the point, the clock ticking down in their favour. They have the man advantage as well, but those respawns are going to be favourable here for LMA. Looks like they want to wait for their charge, but if they try and play this game, they might end up getting crits on. They're starting to walk forward here. Arcade's Kalis and JeeJaey trying to create a little bit of space here, see what's on the point. The crits is up, the Uber's just about to come up. Chopru coming in from behind trying to get the backstab, but the Uber already being popped off here by Arcades. Now the counter crits coming in. It's absolute pandemonium on the point, but they just can't get enough cap time on it. They can't even keep the point alive, and it's going to be 2-1.
Props to Roban there. I mean, just the tracking of him to keep Kalis, the Uber demo, just floating in the air using his minigun was pretty insane to just totally deny it by firing directly at an Uber target. So we are 2-1 now in the favour of Experiment. First time they've been in the lead in this game so far. A big jump in from the soldier. Kaneko goes all the way behind them. Doesn't manage to land on the backpack though, so does taken down. And kills coming in from either side here, but Joe goes down. Big pick from Elazul. No demo man for Layla to heal, and she's probably going to back off here. She is still running that Kritzkrieg and probably wants to preserve that for when she has her demo man alive and well. And LMA win this mid fight and are in control with Uber on the point once again.
They need to be doing a much better job of keeping tabs on this Kritzkrieg. Hopefully they're aware of it now, but I mean in Highlander where you have that full-time spy, the information is always available to you. You just have to try and murder your team. But here comes that crits, and now the counter Uber as Kryma gets a flash, goes in deep there, kills off Leela and Trooper, and the Uber coming up trumps against Kritzkrieg as you expect at that sort of range.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just doing a great job of doing what I said earlier on, just jumping into the crits medic, and there's nothing, she can't keep herself alive, the demo man can't really do, too much damage unless he's going to be hurting himself, and keeps taking down Layla just by jumping in. Need to maybe have the heavy Roban playing a little bit closer or somebody just denying that jump in. But once again, Arcades with the Uber advantage comes up to 2 minutes on the clock now. They've carved off a minute of time already in this round, and they can probably block this point with the Uber, but Experiment are doing really well. Just pure aggression from them, walking onto the point, knowing that they don't have it, and the Uber does get popped by Arcades and does deny the cap from the Experiment. They have to back off, backstab from Elizal into Roban, who was HP anyway. But the X-Wing does go in all of the chaos, and LMA, I think, are getting a little bit overexcited with these Uber pushes, and they're losing too many players. And Layla does have her crits, and in about 10 seconds we're going to be seeing a crits push pretty soon, I expect. But Crime is on the top right, and oh no, he decides he's going to back off. He doesn't want to jump into it, and the crits is almost ready. Admirable. I think it's going to come any second now. It's not
actually
crits, it's
Uber. They switched off to Uber there after that last death, and Arcades get caught out there by the pipe of JoeN UFC, and we will see the Experiment regaining control here. But this is only their first seconds coming off the timer in this round, and it's just under 2 minutes for them to catch up with. But I mean, the Uber push there from LMA, I've seen them come from that right hand side that onto the point a couple of times, and it doesn't look like the best way to push to me. I know I haven't actually played this map, but I'd rather just go directly across the point, the straight way. It's shorter and you can jump, you can you know, chase down your opponents there, but they've tried to push from that flank side a couple of times, and I don't know, I'm not a fan of it. It's not working for me.
No, it's a bit of a kind of a clusterfuck down there. You take loads of spam to the face, and it just pretty much denies you. Walking across the point is so much better, I agree. But LMA just walking onto the point now, but the Uber is ready from Layla. She does use it. Oh, the backstab misses Joe as he was at Uber, but does manage to get Roban down. X-Wing goes down as well. And LMA had that point half capped, but 2 minutes on the clock now for the Experiment. So they're catching up, and the backstab from Elizal takes down Layla. Massive pick as their medic goes down. No heals for the Experiment. LMA surely to take advantage of this. They have their medic close to the point. Does use Uber, gets taken down really, really low. Not sure what hit him there. But they should be able to recap this now with only 4 players left. But Neil Milchman there on the balcony takes down Crime with the body shot, and he is in position to have a look on the point to try and maybe take someone else down, but gets shot in the head by Thazu instead.
Yeah, Arcade's popping off there, kind of like a free Uber charge, I guess, because he just killed off Leela, but equally if he gambled and tried to hold on to it, like, he dropped, no big deal. They would have been in the same situation anyway.
It doesn't matter anymore because there's a leaky trap there. Admirable that takes down Lanus again.
Oh
so
God.
No heals for the Experiment, and their combo just gets totally destroyed by all of that spam.
From behind. He's in onto the medic. Arcade's on fire on 10 health, looking for some heals right now. Regen is kicking in, but won't be able to stay alive as Milchman catches him with a body shot. Shot in the back. No honour in Highlander.
Should have just let him burn. I mean, he was 4 HP, there was no way he was going to survive. Maybe a bit of overkill from Milchman there. It does mean the Experiment have this point. They have an Uber advantage now. But they do have a lot of time to catch up. Nearly a minute to go before they overtake LMA's time that they've posted. If Experiment win this round, we move on to the second map, which will be Badwater. It's first to 3 on this map, so LMA really under pressure now. They need to recapture this point and win this round to stay in this first map. The Uber advantage, Layla standing around behind the point, still on the Uber, 80%. Thazu going down as well, so no sniper for LMA for a while. And it's not looking good for LMA at the moment as the Uber gets popped off. Arcade's desperately trying to escape, 13 HP. And that regen is going to keep him just alive. And he keeps alive with his with his Demi Man, and this is last chance saloon on this map, I think, Admirable. They need to make this push count, otherwise this is mapped to the Experiment.
Gotta give credit to JoeN Flam Master. He just ran in there and sacrificed himself to buy his combo enough time to escape with that air blast. But yeah, here comes this very crucial Uber push. X-Wing trying to move forward. The big Girardi coming in. All these players set up for mini crits right now. Arcades is going to pop off, but already Keyless, the Demo Man, has gone down. So this is pretty disastrous. They're trying to chase forward with a heavy and a pyro, but they're just coming up against a brick wall here. But as I say that, Blues comes in with the Scar Gun onto Layla, and that's just going to save a little bit of face here, but it's not going to help him with this push. Kate's trying to look forward to keep this game alive, but no. It's going to be 3-1 in favour of the Experiment.
Yeah, great play there by Experiment in the end. They played it smart right till the very end there. And considering how far behind they were in the timescales, pretty impressive. They managed to turn that around in the final round. So they save face on their map of choice. The way that the maps worked in the preseason playoffs, the qualifiers, was that each team would ban three, and then each team would pick one. So each team has banned three maps, and then the three remaining were Warm Tick, Bad Water, and Gully Wash. Experiment have picked Warm Tick, and Lotus Munching Angels have picked Bad Water as their map of choice. But this Admirable is only a best of one, so this could be over very, very quickly if we get a fast time. If LMA manage to pick up this map, they will move on to Gully Wash as the decider. But based on what you've just seen, I mean, who went huge there for you in that map?
Oh, so it was Joe's show, man. Joe was just dragging his team back into it after they went down that first round. The switch to crits as well. I'm not sure whose idea it was. Probably give credit to Joe and Leila, of course, but totally changed the dynamic of the game. I know they switched back to Uber later on, but that really seemed to rock LMA. They didn't know how to handle that at all, and that totally changed the flow of the game.
I mean, the team is very Joe-centric. He does so much work for them. Obviously, he, as a Premiership player back in Season 6, got to the final with It's All Good. And the season afterwards, he dropped down to Division 2 with this team, him and Layla. And they've been sort of building a team, played in Div 2 in Season 7, and then back last season. They just missed out on the playoffs last season in High. I think they had the same amount of points as the teams in the playoffs, but based on head-to-heads and number of matches won, they didn't make it. And then last season in Platinum and UGC, they finished third. So they've been there and thereabouts, over the past sort of few months. But this, like I said, the roster is ever changing. There's a lot of players coming in and out. So whether this team remains the same over the course of the season, we'll have to wait and see. But definitely Joe going huge there. Picked up 43 frags. 722 damage per minute. Obviously helped with the crits there, but that is insane stats. Thazzy with 41 kills. Those two were just way ahead of anyone else. Milchman is third with 30 frags. But yeah, I mean, Layla died more than Arcade's there. She died 18 to Arcade's 13. So Joe just getting all of those frags really seemed to make the difference. And I agree, I think he was definitely the player of the map. I mean, based on these players and your limited knowledge of what you've seen in this first map, who do you think will have the advantage on a payload map like this?
I'm gonna have to fancy an upset here, maybe not an upset, but a tying up into the series. I'm gonna be back in LMA. I mean, Bazoo putting up big sniper numbers there. He's obviously going to be a threat, but as well as that, Kryma was able to do so much work for his team. If you look at the kind of stats there, it's Joe up top, and then it's Keyless, Tazu, and Kryma trying to do their damnedest to counter the Joe factor. But I believe they have what it takes to turn things around here. I'm gonna, throw my support in for LMA. Let's go, boys.
LMA fangirl right here. Yeah, I mean, a bit of background on LMA, I guess. They are a new team. That's why LMA had to play Danger Gummy Bears in an extra match in the playoffs. There were 5 teams that applied for Prem that didn't have an automatic spot. The 3 established teams were kind of seeded into a final. So on Wednesday we had Strong Opinions play against TC Express, and they won. The Experiment just had to wait around to find out the winner. And Danger Gummy Bears, they weren't, they're also a new team, but they had Prem kind of sixes players. They had players like Kratos, they had players like Wonder, they had players with a lot of experience. They had Saini playing Spy. A lot of players who've got experience, but maybe not as much experience playing together as a unit. And LMA won both maps and came through. So this has kind of been an ever evolving team. They do have a couple of Americans on the roster. I think they're led by ATX, who's kind of a British American manager of the team, and they've got a heavy who's American. Their current scout, who's playing at the moment, is American. The heavy's not playing at the moment. They've got X-Wing, the Polish heavy, playing. So they do have some good players. They've been playing around. I mean, Kalis.
Or does he just have a terrible ping?
Who, Kalis?
Arcades, the medic.
Oh, Arcades is Norwegian, so maybe just bad routing to the server. But yeah, I mean, they've got players who've been like around the top for a while. Kayla's played for Chess in sort of Plat and Prem, and Krymer played in Mad last season, who finished second in High. Elazul is a former teammate of mine in Strong Opinions. And we finished third in High last season, and X-Wing, he played for Mad as well. So this is a lot of players who've played sort of at the top level of the division below Prem. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at an upset here.
What do you think of the overall standard? I see people in Twitch chat, they're always salty, but some people say, "Lol, this is supposed to be Prem XD." Is the standard of Prem going down this season?
I would say the opposite, Admirable. I would say the coming season, we're not going to have, like last season, we had a couple of teams who were pretty far off the top half. We had Chess, Premtech, High Panda, fair enough, were so far ahead of the bottom four. But I think this season we're not going to have a team like last season we had a team UKIP, and they finished with 0 points. I don't think we're going to have that this season. I think it's going to be much closer on who's going to get into playoffs and who's going to get relegated. And yeah, whichever one of these teams, they're not going to be one of the favourites to finish in the top half, but I would say they'd have a chance of standing out a little bit. I don't know. But it looks like we are setting up now. The red team is LMA. They are defending first. Defending the only time. Defending first. We only have a best of one. They'll defend first. Experiment will attack, and then we'll swap around. And the winner of this round will either be placed into Prem if it's Experiment, but if it's LMA, we'll move on to a third map. And I expect, Admirable, do you want to take us away with the suicides, the inevitable suiciding of the Experiment players?
Yeah, it's a fairly standard sentry position there from BAM at the back. Position to kind of cover the cart, but a lot of NGs will hold forward with their sentry perhaps sometimes and then move it back after the suicide wave, but he's going to keep it there. And here comes Kaneko, at least jumping forward with that direct hit, and they're trying to spam the gun, but that's just setting up for Joe as the wrangle was forced on the gun. Joe was able to jump in, and the sentry actually did no damage, and he was able to take it out there and to get the foresight. So this is a dream scenario here for this suicide wave. That ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was about to compliment Arcades on his sort of dodging there of all the suicides coming in. They did kind of focus the sentry, but he took no damage. I don't know why he used his Uber there. I don't think he took much damage at all, so a bit of a strange decision for me there. But Layla has used her Uber so early on the cliff. The Pyro is there, and Jennifer Master is just going to push them off the cliff. Great play. And Roban is going to be on the cliff by himself. He's going to lose that heavy battle to X-Wing. The sniping of the Thomas Labs and the cute little arrow there from Arcades is going to keep X-Wing alive. The sentry does go down again, and the headshot from Thazu takes down Layla. 10-second respawn for her, and Experiment are just going to have to re-coordinate and get themselves together, but it does look like they are going to take this first point. This is normal Badwater, not Badwater Pro, so no little fences on the second point. And with 100% Uber in the hands of Arcades, I'm just wondering what they're going to do, if they're going to do a corner hold or a roof hold. What would you suggest as a medic main, Admirable? What would you be telling your team to do right now?
Get back to third immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, set up that sentry in the Imba sentry spot, but their engineer, BAM, is trying to put up a gun here at the corner. They're looking to buy time here, but I mean, this is a fool's errand. This is not a viable position to hold for a long period of time. The cap's going to come in anyway, and now they're starting to go back, but they can be caught out here, like in this transition. If they'd been just sitting back, maybe holding forward with a few players, a few disposable players, they could have had a level 3 up by now, but they decided to hold forward and gamble. Now this is a real opportunity here. If Joe was still up, they could be pushing already, but with Joe down, it might just give them enough time to set up a solid defense here after all.
Yeah, that was a big pick by Thaz, who just slowed down the push there from the Experiment. And based on the previous round, I think it's likely to say that the team's not going to really do much pushing without Joe alive on the table. It has given BAM some time to get up a level 2 sentry, so that's up there for the defense, and it's really aggressive holding it from Arcades. And the rest of the LMA team, nobody's really watching the right hand side at the moment, so if they're not careful, they could get a sniper in there. Actually, no, Blues has taken position in the boiler room, and yeah, we got Uber in the hands of Layla now, probably getting ready to push at any moment. But we're kind of getting a little bit of a stalemate as Chupa's trying to sneak behind. He's on those pipes, seeing what he can do. Probably wants to go for the medic, but at the moment this is a bit like a stalemate in a 5CP.
What is Arcade's doing? Just looking around. Turns his back to the spy. I mean, the corner is the position to stand, obviously, but like, you got to look forward. And I know he knew there was a spy there or whatever, but somebody had to protect him. At the same time, just the coordination from the LMA combo there was poor. The gun has gone down, or been moved at least. Sorry, it's not gone down. But with the NG going down there, bam, it certainly will go down. So, kind of bad situation here for LMA. The defense has been penetrated and they're just trying to put up a fight here at the corner. Roban is slowly but surely moving that cart forward. He goes down. Leela's going to be able to escape with 40 health here, but being chased by Blues. Blues looking for this medic pick. Leela on 20 health. The pistol comes in. Huge play there from Blues just to chase that one down. And the cap has been denied here. It's just nipple hairs away though, CeeJaey.
There's so much to talk about there. I mean, I was going to talk about the rescue ranger as Bam picked up his sentry to get out. Big jump in from Joe directly onto the cart, but the pipe from Kalos denies him, and with the X-Wing with his 450 HP of mass on that cart, there is nothing going to move that cart until he dies. But great play there by LMA. I really have to hand it to them. I thought they had made a big mistake backing out the way they did after they lost Arcades to that drop, but somehow they managed to just, with pure aggression, just defending that point, have retained this point, and Kaneka goes down. Headshot from Thaz, who's on a 7 kill streak right now, and Blues is doing really well. 100% for Arcades, later at 30%. Maybe some chance for some suicides from Experiment if they start throwing some players in. Maybe do some action rather than just waiting around, because gonna need a pick to make some sort of advantage. Just can't expect Chupa to get a drop onto Arcades a second time in a row, can we, Admirable?
He was trying to come in cloaked underneath, but just the pre-fire there from X-Wing was enough to discourage him. But it looks like we're going to see them all rotating around through the boiler room here. They're trying to work that left-hand side. Our attackers, the Experiment, looking for an angle. They're trying to create space for their Milchman to pop some shots off, as we seem to be going to a little bit of a pause here.
It does look like we've got a pause. We've got the old Heavy doing his cycling action in midair. So it looks like we've had a pause for some reason. We'll have to wait and find out. It's not a crash. It most definitely looks like a pause at the moment. But yeah, we're just seeing, I mean, for me, just to be a little bit critical of the Experiment there, they didn't really do anything during all of this downtime. You know, Layla was about 20-30%, while Arcade had 100%. You should know by tracking the Ubers that they had a big disadvantage. They know that based on the fact that they weren't pushing. Maybe throw some players in there. Maybe your soldier, your demo. I don't know. You know, it's not as if the enemy team's going to push out from third point.
Are you looking at the Joker right now?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm talking about. He's 80 HP. He's surely going to die here. The Wrangling sentry gun is focused right on him, so he's going to die just as Layla's going to get her Uber. So it's delaying the push by another sort of 5-10 seconds.
This pipe is surely going to connect. And he's going to be able to fire off another one, I think, before he dies. So, like, he could connect 2 big pipes here, is what I'm thinking, looking at this. Like, I don't think
I'm trying to look at the angle. It depends if Arcades, is he moving from, like, is he moving away from the wall? Because if he is, that pipe's going to land directly on his feet, and he's in a whole lot of trouble.
The pipe hitbox is so fucking wide that I feel like even if he was to stand against the wall, it would still hit him anyway. The only way he can get out, like dodge that, is probably to like try and jump off the edge. I don't know, or walk backwards maybe would help. But I'm imagining that pipe is going to connect. Who knows?
So I mean, if he gets the drop, that's going to be huge. And then he'll respawn, and Layla will have Uber, and then everything I just said will be thrown out the window, as they'll be able to push in Uber versus non-Uber. But this is such a difficult point to push. We do have the unpause as Bam takes down Joe. Didn't even connect with the Dream. And Thazu gets out his Kukri, takes down Chupa. No backstabs for him this time around. But just looking at Milchman, he's got 1 point on the board at the moment. Thazu is just totally destroying everything. And I really think Experiment need to help Milchman get into some positions, as he does take down 2 players. That's like the opposite of Curse of the Caster. Like, yeah, he's just suddenly started killing things. But the Uber does come out on track now. It's flashed a lot onto Joe and XD, and they're just trying to push people away. but they get absolutely no damage, anything. Nobody dies there. And Thazu does take down the sniper once again, but the repush comes in. Bloodis takes down Kalis, and X-Wing goes down, and Arcades is going to get taken down by Joe as well. And that's a great repush coming from the experiment there. Great play just to force the Uber and then repush it. And then they need to deal with this level 3 sentry. Does go down to a Wrangled Mini, it looked like. And Experiment are going to capture this point. I can't quite see the time just yet. Need to reload my HUD. But Admirable, that was a pretty good move by them.
Yeah, I mean, that whole position from LMA is kind of ill-conceived. Like, if you hold forward there, you have this horrible route to take back. Like, the only way you can go back is through the corner. And you saw Arcades getting caught out there. But, I mean, like, it's just so easy to get forced there, to get sniped, whatever. But they persisted with it. And right now, they've kind of made their bed, so they have to line it. They lost their medic, they lost their charge, their sentry gun, they've got no defense set up here. And they're just trying to go huge, but they're being outnumbered here. Blues is going to be able to kill off Bloodis there, but it just seems to be all one-way traffic apart from that. The Experiment looking good as the cart rolls forward here. The next spawn wave isn't for another 8 seconds. I think they're just going to be able to cap this one straight up. Bam, trying to move forward, but just gets downed by their Milch, man.
Wow, it took them 4.5 minutes to push that third point. It was about 6 minutes and 32 seconds. The final time being 7:24 for all 4 points. So really good transition there from third point to last. Elizal did manage to get a backstab onto Layla. It didn't matter. Experiment just kept walking forward, holding that W, pressing down Mouse 1 as hard as they could, and just wiped out the rest of the LMA crowd. So now LMA need to capture all 4 points of this game. They need to win this round of Badwater in under 7 minutes and 24 seconds. If they do not, then the Experiment will take that last spot in the Premiership Division. We'll have our 8 teams decided, and Lotus Munching Angels will be resigned to playing in High next season. But if LMA do manage to do what's pull off a surprise here and pick up this round, we'll move on to a round. Are you still confident, Mara? Would you still have faith in your Angels?
I mean, in the best of one, of course, it favours the team who attacks first because they set the time, and then on defense they have that extra cushion of knowing, well, we don't have to like hold here for dear life on first. We can just back off any time. Or they can like see these milestones coming up when they can imagine themselves having enough time to retreat safely. So it's looking good here for Joe and Co. The Experiment just need to play a safe game, not take too many risks, and they can easily run the clock down past that 7:49 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly what you said. Play it safely, just backing out at the right moment, not staying in for too long. I think that's the worst thing that can happen. And Thazu there, though, managing to get a headshot. Here
comes Elizabeth with the zap. The bomb comes in at the same time. It's a nice coordinated aggression again onto Layla, and she has to pop to save herself there. They sacrifice 6 players, but it was worth it.
She was so close to dropping there. Wise decision just to pop it with Crimer facing her with that rocket launcher. And Jedi Flamaster is on the cliff already. He's quite far forward. But Cupid there getting a backstab onto Thazu. That's a really big pick because he's been doing quite a lot of work for them so far in this game. Kaneko getting aggressive, trying to get the force onto Arcades. Doesn't manage it, does get taken down. That's going to be valuable intel for the Experiment. The Uber's used really, really early on. Jedi Flamaster tries to push them, but XC's just going to do exactly what his Pyro counterpart did early on. But X-Wing is on the top now, takes down the Pyro, and takes down the Sentry with the help of Elizal. And this is big damage coming in from LMA. Big jump in from Crimer. Manages to take the NG. That's a good pick. And surely Experiment are going to have to back off, do what you suggested, Admirable, and get it backed off the third.
Yeah, I feel like they got off lightly there, you know, like with that huge Uber advantage, they still held forward anyway. Obviously XD doing a great job with the reflects, but if LMA had been smart about it and not just pushed cliffside or pushed slightly differently, they could have just cut off the retreat there of the Experiment and like massacred them, but that's why I say I feel they got off lightly. But already we see the Experiment retreating here onto third, setting up that solid defense. This is like the defense that forced them to make a pro version of this map. If you do this right, it's like, I'm not gonna say impossible to break, but it's super hard against like a well-drilled team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're just in the right positions and nobody makes any mistakes, then it's really difficult. We got Uber versus Uber here. It's all about LMA, whether they can get that force, whether they can get a pick You know, you're looking at the medic, you're looking at the engineer. The Uber is used very early on. Later drops down there, but the Pirate is just going to push people away. But the Sentry, wow, great play by Kalis, takes down Eklund and Milchman. That Sniper and Engineer for Experiment now, and that Sentry is just going to be spammed. It's so weak, it's only a level 1, but Layla gets domed there by Thazu. Great headshot from him, and surely Experiment are going to have to back off to last now. They have nothing to defend on the third point. So many players are weak, they've got no heals, and Blues is picking up, he's just cleaning up there on the scout, gets 3 kills, and Joe here is alone. Got to be careful, and he has to back off, and it looks like LMA are going to get this last point with about 4 minutes left on the clock.
They're trying to scramble to make this work though. Roban was putting down the hurt from above. It does get focused down though. But Joe's still trying to contest here. He loves that aggressive play. That's the style that made his Highlander demo manning famous. He is going to finally retreat though, and they will regroup 4 minutes on the clock here, and already LMA are knocking on their door. I still believe LMA, you can do this. Joe's got a dirty sticky trap there just on the corner though, on the high part of the roof, so if anyone peeks there they may die instantly. Blues is trying to keep that cart moving. Joe's going to discourage him though, but huge Uber advantage here for Arcades, 30%. They need to go now. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and the Uber comes in now. Later doesn't have it yet, she's at 97%. Finally gets it, well played, far back, but the jump in from Kramer does force the Uber, and they're in a bad position now. They have no sniper, no heavy. If LMA are able to collapse in and deal some more damage, they could really do something here, but they do lose a lot of players in the process, and it doesn't look like they'll be able to repush. Thazu is still on that choke point, trying to land some cheeky snipes onto players, but they do have a level 2 now up. Eklund has built that underneath the platform. Not my favourite place for a sentry, but it does the job. And Layla is going to have an Uber advantage, as somehow in all that chaos, Arcades went down. I have no idea how that happened, Admirable.
Don't ask me. I feel like LMA need to be pushing the cart a little bit better whenever they make these Uber pushes, like really try and take advantage of that distraction. They did get some ground with it, but still the majority of the hard work left for them to do here. They're facing off against about a 50% Uber advantage. But Layla doesn't have it just yet. We do see the battle for tires underway, but Kaneko finds a 2k there. Bam and Kramer going down to his black box, and he tries to get aggressive into the combo, but is immediately gunned down by X-Wing. Roban.
Oh, big backstab from Elizabeth takes down Joe, and Roban went down earlier. Blues just kind of walked in and landed a few meat shots, and Chupa somehow, well, he doesn't die, that's Dead Ringer, confusing me, but it looks like LMA are going to walk in here, and they do force the Uber, and Arcades uses his Uber. I'm not sure why that happened, but they do have a better Uber here. Joe is still not up, he's about to spawn in 1 second. But they're not getting the kills they need to, but Blues takes down Layla, and Arcades gets reversed there by Milchman, and they're losing so many players here, and they're not getting the key picks, and the Experiment are holding on with 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go. LMA only have 4 players left alive. They need to capture this point, otherwise it is game over, and Experiment will be in Prem next season, with only 5 players left alive, and 6 seconds on the respawn as Kaneko gets domed there. This is last chance saloon once again for Arcades and his team. He needs to start walking his players into choke. They do come in, but there's a level 3 to contend with still. Admirable, this is chaos. I don't know what's going to happen.
Elizabeth's trying to get in there onto Layla, but she seems unfazed by the whole thing. In that last Uber push, like X-Wing really should have just committed into the low ground as heavy and could have probably picked up 5 frags there, but he waited and his team got slowly but surely picked apart. But now this continued aggression, this chipping away here by LMA could be enough, but they only have 35 seconds left. Like, there's so many times you're looking at the scoreboard, they have man advantage, they just need to go for it, get in there, onto the low ground.
Kalis just comes in, great play, and that is a total wipe for the Experiment. 25 seconds on the clock, and LMA are actually going to do it, Admirable. You were right. You are the prophet that TF2 needs. Just telling us what's going to happen. I wasn't convinced up until that entire last minute. But the heavy there, X-Wing, was standing on top of the platform, did so much damage to Roban, he had to back off. Joe was down at that point, and then Kalis just walks in with his stickies and pipes, takes down Roban and Layla. I don't think she had the Uber just yet. or she was at 90% or something like that. And then just the damage just rained down from all angles. And LMA have taken this second round, or sorry, second map. They've taken Badwater 1-0, as it is a best of one. And we are going to move on to Gully Wash, which was a map that neither team banned, but a map neither team picked. I don't know what that's got to say. We're going to see 3 different game modes now at Admirable. We've seen King of the Hill, we've seen Payload, and now we're going to see 5CP. Now, tell me, what is the gospel of Admirable? What is going to happen, and who is going to advance to Prem?
Gallywatch can be like super slow. Depends. I've seen some real rolls as well in Highlander actually, but I kind of favour Joe in this one just because he's naturally a really aggressive player, and teams tend to get complacent in this map. Like between second and third, there's only like those 2 choke points. It can really grind down, but just the player that takes the initiative, like not even with Uber or whatever, maybe crits, but just whatever team decides to initiate and is coordinated and goes together can often just do these big spikes of damage to like bust your way through. So I feel like if they just revert to the Team Joe style that saw them grab that victory on Wormtick, they might be able to edge it here on Gullywash.
I mean, something that someone said in the chat, and something I was thinking about as well, is why is Eklund playing Engineer and Bloodis playing Scout? I mean, I'm not saying they're bad on those classes, but Bloodis played an entire season as Engineer last season and did very well in High, and Eklund has experience playing Scout in Prem with teams like Stacked, and I don't know, maybe swapping them around. I don't know, maybe that's just they feel more comfortable in those classes, and I'm not aware of that.
Definitely, the knowledge seemed to be lacking there. Or no, it wasn't Eklund, it was too impressed by his engineering, in fact. But Eklund, I didn't really have a strong opinion on either way. You think he's substandard?
No, I'm not saying that. It's something about the classes that,
They're not making the best use of the players they have.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, and I just realised, Eklund is coming in as a sub-NG, as Calicool can't play. I assume he's the main NG for the team, and I just realised that both of those players are more well known, I suppose, on playing alternate classes.
Maybe that's the ethos of Joe's team. He dropped out of Prem to make a team that was fun. Whatever. Maybe he just lets people play whatever they want, man.
yeah, that could be. Yeah, just looking at the logs now, actually, and Fazu there with 21 kills, top fragged. I really do think him on the defense did so much work. Joe coming in with 16, and Blues. I was impressed with him actually. The scout for LMA, one of the Americans on their roster, the only American that's able to play today. And yeah, I mean, he did really well. I mean, there was some moments when they were attacking, he just walked in through the chokes, hit sort of 2 or 3 meat shots, and just did enough damage that the rest of his team could kind of follow up on it. And he only died 9 times, which, other than the medics, was the least amount on the server. So I was pretty impressed with his DM. He seemed to be doing pretty well there on the scout. And Kalis there with 14 kills. And second damaging just behind Joe. I also did pretty well for them as well, especially in that last push. But I mean, for Payload, I suppose logs don't really tell the story as much as maybe they would on other game modes. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw crits from Joe on this map. And what do you think is going through their head? I mean, the Experiment were huge favourites to win this. I'm not sure what the odds were on Saloon. I'll have to check that up. But what do you think is going through their minds right now?
Well, I mean, Tazuki winning the sniper battle, that's why I was, or a big part of my reasoning that I thought they would be having a more favourable engagement here on Badwater, but I'm not sure if that's because he is a better sniper than Dermiltsman, or he's just getting better protection, or Dermiltsman under a lot of pressure, but snipers may be good or useful on Gullywash middle. But it's usually only when your team's already winning that, you see these snipers being super effective. It's going to be tough for Tazu to be as impactful on Gullywash. That's kind of why I'm feeling like Joe is going to be the key player to watch. If Joe has a good game on Gullywash, I think it's going to go well for the Experiment here.
I've just been told, shout out to Toba for telling me what the odds were. Apparently it was 72% in favour of the experiment for this match. So I'm not aware if there was any kind of, what's it called? Where, if one team wins a map, they win the bet or whatever. Obviously there was...
Spread.
Spread, that's what it called, yeah. So I don't think there was any spread, but huge odds in the favour of the experiment. So obviously both teams are excited about getting to Prem, but I'm sure there's people out there who are excited about the prospect of more hats if they bet on either of these teams. But I kind of agree with you. I mean, the team, Joe has a lot of experience, and especially on a map like this, if you can get the rollouts done and get the right damage so that the rest of his team can follow up, it's going to be huge. But in the same respect, Kalis has that experience of playing in chess, playing in Prem, playing in Plat. He's a demo man that's been around for a long time. He knows how to play this map. He knows how to do demo man in Highlander. And both snipers are both equally capable on a map like this where the sight lines do kind of snipers at times. Really, I think it's all going to be about momentum for me. I think if the experiment kind of have that bad water map in their mind and are getting frustrated, then it might play on them. And if the LMA can get a couple of rounds at the start, who knows? They can probably roll away with it. But I think it's going to really depend on which team sort of takes the first couple of rounds, and we could maybe see some stalemates that just grind it out. I mean, who knows? This is all it is. I mean, this just dictates what each of these teams are going to do for the rest of the season.
I mean, from what I've seen so far, like most of these players cancel each other out, except for that Thazu seems to be hitting his shots, and Joe is obviously just like this kind of infamous aggressive demo man with so much experience. Keyless as well, but Joe would have the edge there. So, man, it's just the Joe show. It's all about Joe. It's Joe.
So you're not an LMA fangirl anymore. It's all about the Joe.
Well, maybe Kryma is going to have a good game on Gullywish. He showed some nice aggression previously on Warmtick. I could see, a close game, but I just feel like, the demo man, having an aggressive demo man who can put a lot of damage is important to opening up Gullywish, like to stop it from descending into that kind of a grind. But I suppose also the fact that he can slow the game down around the choke points. But yeah, I'm just all about Joe, man. Number one Joe fan. Got the t-shirt on and everything.
We are just waiting for the teams to get ready, and yeah, I'm excited. I mean, at the start of this game, I was kind of expecting it just to be experiment taking this. I had some people telling me that this game was going to be done in half an hour, and it would be all over, bar the tears. But we are starting the third and deciding map now, with LMA in the red, experiment in the blue, and both teams rolling out from big door, taking opposite sides. Alyssal's hiding in that choke, does get taken down by Kaneko, trying to sneak around there, and it's just nobody's walking across the point now, except for Joe. He's getting good damage now, but he gets jumped. Big jump in from Cromwell, lands that second rocket, and takes down Layla. No medic now for the experiment, and Arcades has survived. No, he doesn't. I called it too soon. The Milchman takes him down with a headshot, and what was looking so good for LMA at the start, they have only 3 players left alive, and the experiment are going to cap out that middle point.
These heavies are kind of garbage, man. Like, it's too easy for these medic picks to be happening. Like, we saw it on Koth as well, on Wormtick, but I mean, like, Roban doesn't need to be trying to shoot targets halfway across the map. The guy he's looking for is the soldier. Like, focus, man, focus!
I mean, exactly, you got to be looking up at that sky, turn that mouse so you're looking up at the sky, waiting for the people to jump up.
Elazil's ghosted in underneath, but he is the farthest forward player here for LMA right now. He's just getting some intel for his team here, but a very defensive posture coming out of the experiment right now. Their sniper, their Milchman, is down for another 5 seconds, but so is Thazu. So no snipers here to be able to try and get that injury pick onto middle, and Joe is trying his damnedest just to spam choke here and discourage the aggression from LMA, but they're keen to try and force the issue. They're trying to peek here, see what's happening. Joe's got a trap up there just above that kind of junction box on the wall, and then another one on the pillar, but he's got a debt, and he's starting to move forward as well. He's calling for the medic. Looks like he wants to make an Uber trade here, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of, you get to this point now on a 5CP, especially with Highlander. Both teams have Uber, and you're just waiting for that pick. You know, you need something big, something like, well, I mean, the medic is the dream. You know, dropping the medic is great, or at least getting the force. But something like taking down a heavy, or a pyro, or a demo, just so that you can get a little bit more space walking in through that choke. That can really help. But it's kind of a sniper pick though. Oh, but the big sticky trap from Kalis takes on the sniper, Milchman and Joe, and that is what LMA wanted. They are walking in now. They do force that Uber earlier. They're going to have a better Uber here. And Flamaster is going to take most of it. He's just going to run forward. Does go down for his troubles. But the Experiment are hightailing it out of there. It's quickly. He's got a big jump in from Kaneko. Almost takes down Arcades. But he does survive on less than 90 HP. They are going to cap this point, and they're walking forward through Big Door now. They're keeping up with the momentum that they've got from that push. And Bloodis is getting aggressive. Blues is getting aggressive. And Bloodis wins out there with a little bit of help from his sniper. And now we're just seeing LMA walk right forward. They've kind of sandwiched them Admirable, but they're deciding against it, which is probably smart when you're being chased by Joe and his stickies.
Yeah, I think they definitely made the right decision to retreat there. They bought some time for themselves just by pushing Big Door and then falling back there because they were actually outnumbered and in a terrible position on the low ground, but they've managed to actually regain a foothold here at Choke, and the Uber's coming here from Joe, and it's pretty early. Lee the popping off, and now the counter pop here from Arcades, but pops off on X-Wing the Heavy, and you can't really chase Heavy. Like, you need a scout and a demo man there to do damage and chase frags, so nothing's really going to happen from this Uber trade, but it does take the Uber out of the equation, and that allows Joe to pick forward and just pump out the damage. He's landing pip after pip here. But meanwhile, their flank is being smashed. There's only 3 players alive here for the Experiment, and Kryma is going to come in and kill off Leela to end his 5-kill streak. And now it is Elazul trying to chip away at Joe there, but just sets up the frag for Tazoo instead. And now he sees Roban the Heavy trying to chase here, but just ends up going down. But they have gained admission here onto CP2/4. Chuper's hanging around there at Big Door, but decides not to go for that brave medic pick, and then ends up just getting taken down there by JoeN the Pyro.
Yeah, great turn of events here. Big jump from Kaneko, takes down the Pyro, and Arcade survives. He's got 95% Uber. Eklund going on walkabout here through main, deciding against it. And just wondering now, they've got this huge, about 60% Uber advantage. Looks like they're going to go in from River. They got most of their team there. It all depends on whether they can get the frags and the time on the point. And they're just taking it slow now. They're walking in. They haven't had to use yet. The Uber finally does get used. Layla goes down to a body shot from Thazu. And Kalis takes down the Pyro. That is huge on Gullywatch last. And X-Wing is on there. He's going to get slammed down so much. But he gets 3/4 of the time onto the point. And there's so many players who are weak for the Experiment. And Arcades has survived. He's surely going to go down here as he tries to escape. He does. That is a wipe from LMA. What the hell happened there, Admirable? From Uber advantage pushing into last to get wiped.
Even killed the medic on entry. They just didn't seem to find the frags. They got juked slightly. I mean, they don't need to try and rush the point or anything. All they need to do is like Uber in, see if they can get some frags. If you can't, just get position, like stand top right or stand somewhere above the point where you can just shoot down and control the spawn doors. But they lost all their engagements, so I guess well played by the Experiment, who've been given a lifeline here. They've retaken second, and they're already pushing in onto middle here. Huge man advantage. Blues is trying to find some important frag here. Nobody's dealing with him. Eventually he goes down to the no-scope there from their Milchman. But nice momentum shift here. The Experiment in the driving seat now.
Yeah, great play by Blues to take down Joe. That's really going to stop any further advance from the Experiment. They could have maybe walked into second based on the fact that they have this huge Uber advantage. Arcade's at 60% and they're holding quite close to choke. They're deciding to back off now. That's quite smart. Personally, I'd like to hold on top. You can at least defend second for a little bit longer here, but X-Wing might get caught out, and Kalis is surely going to die here as the Uber is used. No, he jumps out. Great escape from him. And not many frags coming down for the Experiment, but they do have the ground. Phase Arcades. He's dead to Chupa. The spy for the Experiment gets the medic once again, and Layla is going to have Uber advantage for this push into last. And we've got a turn of events now. It looks like Experiment are going to get a chance of pushing last Admirable with an Uber advantage.
Yeah, and they've already got themselves a little man advantage. They could just walk in here, but it seems like they will wait, or they're going to rotate at least to Riverside, working their way forward here. Buff's being given to Kaneko. Is he going to try and jump in or get behind? No, they're just spamming. Kaneko looking to build up his conch here before they push, but they also have that 75% of an Uber charge, and they're currently sitting on 40% advantage here. Trooper going to kill off Bam as well, so the sentry gun has already been dealt with. This is looking like a great situation here for the push to come in. As long as they pop off that Uber charge in time and just walk forward onto the point, they can just force the action there.
Yeah, they jump in straight away, trying to focus. The medic takes so much damage, and they're all going onto the point now. But this is similar to the mistake that the LMA made earlier, and it's so much damage. The sticks and the rockets from Kalis and Crime are just combining. Joe finally goes down to a body shot there, and it's only the assassin classes left for the Experiment. And surely LMA want to try and push out and get a bit of pressure on the second here. I have to thank Twitch chat Admirable. They have reminded me, or alerted me I should say, that the revolver kill earlier from Chupa was actually a drop onto arcades.
Yeah, it was.
I missed that. So yeah, I'm not sure how many drops we've had in this game so far. I haven't been keeping count, but that was a pretty major one in this. But it hasn't turned out too bad for them, as they have Uber once again. Layla only at 5%, and surely LMA need to start moving now. They are coming through choke. Need to get their players in. They use rather early. They drop their scout. That's kind of bad from them. I would have liked to have it in the Uber. But they do get the kills, they do get the ground, and they are going to start capping the midpoint.
Kaneko's in! It's the med pick. Nobody reacts in time to protect our there. Like, he had time to reload a rocket to get that med pick. And that is going to immediately invite the Experiment back in the middle. They're cleaning up all these frags, and they're already pushing ahead here. And it looks like they're going to get us another chance to push last.
Okay, it does. 90% in the hands of Layla already. Arcade's just spawning. And X-Wing is really, really aggressive here. Gets loads of damage onto Milchman there. And Jedi Flamaster was also there. Thazu getting really aggressive. Can he get the headshot? Oh, so close. Layla was about to turn the corner. Could have dropped there, but Thazu decides to back off there. And Layla, who is so weak, 29 HP, waiting for the sandwich from Roban to get her back up to over 100. And Arcades has managed to get over 50%, and the Uber is forced really early, and the Flash is going to take that down to barely anything. But Bloody is going straight for the point. He gets time still on that point, and doesn't stay on the point. Very smart from him. The rest of the team are just going for the frags as Layla takes down Arcades with the crossbow. And I've got a pause.
I think this is going to be a cap for sure. Jedi's either going to die or get juggled off the point. It's like, it's virtually capped here. I can't. Well, if he does manage to hold on here, it's a huge play. But I think we're going to see our first round. The only way I think
he can do it is if Joe lays a sticky at the floor, Jedi reflects it, and Joe kills himself with it, and then sets fire to Bloodis and kills him. If that happens, I'll give you a hat. Let's put it that way. This is almost certainly. Whoa, let's not get too far. Come on. I'm pretty certain this is going to be 1-0 for the Experiment, with just under 20 minutes to go.
They seem to have a plan here. Like, Bloodis didn't really go for any frags. He went directly to the point, killed the guy who was behind the point, the NG, bam. And then Joe started to try and stick him on there. And I'm glad they actually had a plan this time, because it seemed like every other last push from both teams, they didn't really have a target in mind, or they weren't really trying to, kill off the demo man or whatever. But this time, they've kind of made a on-the-fly play, and it looks like it's about to pay dividends for them, unless the miracle happens.
We're all waiting for the. I mean, there's Thazu. He's on top left, top right. Crime is kind of behind as well. I mean, he's weak, but a rocket could make the difference. Who knows? It all depends on whether Bloodis and Joe
can get there. Like,
yeah, I mean, they can.
If he steps off the point for even a second, it's capped. Or like a millisecond. Oh, there we go.
The dream's dead. But 1-0 to the Experiment. They take the first round of this third map, and we will onto the second mid-fight of this game. I'll just remind you, whoever wins this map will go and advance to Prem for Season 9. And Kalis going to his own choke, takes a couple of meat shots there, but Blue just goes down to Blues. But Kalis finally goes down to XD as there is just so much aggression here from the Experiment as they walk across the jump. Krymer just gets totally denied by Roban this time. Great play by him. Thazu is down as well to Chupa with the revolver, and the Experiment really crashing LMA on this mid, taking down so many players, and they are going to win this second mid fight and assert their dominance for this Gullywash map.
X-Wing and Arcades and Kalis all just regrouping at choke here. It seems like they want to try and catch Lila, Joe and Roban off guard, and they do get that foresight. The counter pop comes in a few seconds later, and they're looking to stream forward into middle. They've gained entry here, but as the Uber fades, Kaneko jumps up and is going to get that med pick. 2 juicy rockets to the black box, and with no heals available here for LMA, they are likely to be cleaned up pretty promptly. And you can see at this point in the game, there's 2 players missing here from the Experiment side.
Yeah, I think Thazu headshot Layla so hard there that she timed out. As well as Joe. Obviously they live together, they time out together.
Right,
It's romantic. But I think that's where the pause happened. Great headshot from Thazu onto Buddhist to stop that cap, that ×2 cap on the second point. And Arcades is now going to start walking towards mid. He's got 30% in the bank. But Joe just laying stickies at big door, just stopping any players from walking through there. And we're going to get a little bit of a stalemate here now, I expect, as Layla does have a disadvantage. Not huge, but it might be something for LMA to work with.
So Layla back on the field here. So the talisman of the Experiment. He is calling for medic, but he's also drawing his attention here towards the big door where Kryma, Blues and Elazul await. Blues got their Milchman with the headshot onto Kryma. That flank is kind of vulnerable right now. They could push big door. I know they're kind of worried about pushing without their charge, but they have decided to move up towards choke instead. Looks like they want to take that bait, but I mean, Gullywash, this transition between second and third, whether you're playing sixes or Highlander, it's all about this kind of rotation between choke and big door and showing yourself in one place and then attacking the other, like trying to just catch people where they least expect you to be.
Yeah, the conch comes in from Kaneka here. He does some good damage, but gets taken down by the stickies of Kalis there. And Joe actually goes down to Krymer. That might be the pick that LMA were waiting for. No demo to contend with, and Krymer getting aggressive in choke. Layla is still rather close to the choke. Got a pyro and heavy for company, but they're quite far back. LMA could walk in here as they are picking up kills on the flank, but the body shot from Thazu drops Layla. That is another Uber drop. And they are just cleaning up on the kills now. XD, Roban, and all going down. And LMA are going to take this point without even having to use their Uber, but Arcades finally does. I think he might have dropped to a crater there if he hadn't have used a wise choice from the Norwegian medic to use his Uber. And it's going to be equal Ubers again, but this time LMA have control of the midpoint. And Experiment still have quite a few players down. They're walking into second now. Oh, headshot from Milchman! Takes down Arcades, scratch that. LMA are going to get this second point for sure, but Experiment are going to try and defend it with their Uber advantage.
They're trying to contest here, but the point does change hands. X-Wing just kind of stranded up there. It's going to whip out the Gru, try and escape, but their Milchman is ruthless. They're gunning down that heavy. And with CP4 cap, that does of course leave last exposed, so we do see the Experiment starting to retreat here, but they are hemorrhaging players. They need to keep Layla alive for another 10 seconds to get this charge up, or less than that now, but Joe is starting to move forward. They have only 5 players here close at hand to discourage them from making this Uber push. Who knows that they're defending here from big door, so he's going to push directly into them. He's looking to crush the combo here. They've already killed off the heavy X-Wing. They find Arcades as well, and then Kalis. And a great read there from Joe, and kind of lackluster positioning from the LMA combo, but they got punished so hard.
Yeah, but Admirable, the Pyro MGE master, that is Jedi Flamaster, managed to take down Layla. Don't know how it happened. It happened somewhere where she was left alone and just got destroyed there by the Pyro. Looks like Experiment are going to get this mid-cap, but with an Uber disadvantage as Layla just spawns, and Arcade's already at 40%. And LMA looking like they might want to try and test the water here and move into the middle, but they back off, scared off by Ekelund, the NG there, with his shotgun. And we're back to kind of this stalemate. We've passed the halfway mark, less than 15 minutes to go on this map. There are no halves in ETF2L, there's none of that weird stuff that UGC uses. We are straight 30 minutes. Whoever wins at the end of this game will move into Prem. Unless it's a tie, of course. Then we'll have a glorious golden cap, which is never ending in ETF2L. But yeah, Uber advantage, Uber in the hands of Arcades. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Maybe the Ubers weren't counted.
Got a headshot there.
Ah, okay. And Joe's just walking in now.
Yeah, as if he needed an excuse to push. With no Kalis there, he thinks it's time to go, but Leela ends up dropping both Heavy and Demo Man. And it's kind of getting juggled there by Jedi Flame Master, but just about escapes. There's Kaneko popping off the conch. He's looking to make a solo play on the flank here. He's spotted out by Elazul. He's starting to jump around behind Choke, but X-Wing is going to hear that call and turn around and deal with him. So it looks like Arcades is going to be able to weather that storm. And I'm just waiting for him to die after I say that he's going to survive. But it's not happening. I'm losing my power, CeeJaey.
3 down for the experiment, and Arcade should know he's got Uber advantage. There are stickies on that doorway, but other than that, they can probably walk in with this Uber. Layla is holding very close with the rest of her team. Blue's just having a cheeky little look there. Notices the entire combo of the experiment are waiting for him and backs out. Crimer gets taken down by the mini of Ekelund. So nothing happening on the flank just yet, and just, I don't know, LMA just being a little bit, not passive, but very careful. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Very careful, even though when they have kind of 10, 15, 20% advantage, they're not playing on it. It's either that they don't know or that they're waiting for a big pick, and they start moving across the big door now. Fazu takes down Milkman with the no-scope body shot, but gets taken out. Oh, Bloodies just comes in, forces the Uber. Great play there by the scout. And there's so many flashes that this is going to be a much better Uber from the experiment. They have lost a lot of players in the meantime, and the repush comes in. Blues is leading the way, gets a lot of damage down. Surely going to go down here. The revolver, no, to the X-Wing Tomislav. And LMA are probably going to capture this second point now.
Wow. It looks like their attack is kind of fizzling out here. It's all on X-Wing. Roban's just chilling at the tank there, eating a sandwich, but it's going to be Trooper walking forward to clean up X-Wing, and I don't know how they ended up losing that. I mean, it was a great position for LMA. They had the combo isolated. It choked, and Leela and Co decided to commit even after the Uber didn't use it to escape. It should have gone much better for them, but somehow the experiment ended up holding on there, and now they're looking to make a fight of it onto middle as well. This is incredible.
Yeah, and Arcades goes down to Kaneko this time around, and every time I look at the scoreboard, it seems there's only a few players left alive for both teams. It's just turning into a bit of a DM fest now between the middle and the second points. Pipes coming in from Kalis is just going to scare Joe and Layla out of their choke. And LMA still have control of this middle point, which is big for them, but they still need to get around on the board. It's come less than 12 minutes to go now, and if they don't win a round before that time is up, then Experiment are going to move into Prem, and LMA will be playing in High next season. And again, they're just being very passive. Obviously they know that Layla has a big Uber advantage, but Joe and Layla don't really seem to be moving close to choke either. They're just kind of waiting. So again, I don't think teams are taking too much risk, Admirable. I'm sure this is a high pressure situation, and they know any mistake could lead to a round and, you know, inevitably a victory.
Yeah, I mean, 5 CP and Highlander, you can definitely choose to slow the game down. Like 1-0 can be a very viable thing scoreline. Like if Joe wants to, he can just park the bus here, and that seems to be their intention right now. They're going to just create a little bit of space for their Milchman to try and peek here. He's had a lot of success so far just playing around these choke points and finding those headshots. Tazu currently down for another 6, getting back on the field now, but Elazul is going to be able to pick off Joe, so no stickies here on choke means that Kalis can just walk in here with X-Wing and Arcades. They're trying to put out the damage here, but they decide not to commit to it. They're so hesitant right now. Joe is dead. That's your opportunity. Go for it.
The Uber does get forced onto Layla, and all it does is XD walks in through the choke. He's going to get taken down here by Blues. It's on a 4 kill streak right now, and LMA have had to use their Uber And they've picked up quite a few players here. Joe's gone down again, and Robin's down as well. And no heavy classes up for the experiment means LMA are going to be able to capture this second point and move into the lobby area. And they're not going to be able to move into last before Joe gets respawn. But Roban is still down for another few seconds. And this is just close. It's like a chess game. Rather than just plunging forward, they're just slowly moving the pieces, waiting for those little mistakes, taking advantage of them. And a big jump from Kaneko. He's just going to hold that top right area, getting some free spam down onto the heavy and the demo Kalis, who has to back off a little bit. And this push could be huge if... Oh, we've got a pause now. Again, another pause. Maybe that indicates we have a round on the board, and this is... Who knows? Who knows what could happen at Admirable? I'm just guessing. But LMA really under the more pressure here. I mean, would you feel comfortable if you were the medic for Joe's team? You're playing instead of Layla for some reason, and you're holding on to your last. You're 1-0 up. Would you be happy to just sit back and defend last and just grind it out until the time limit's over?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't necessarily like just unequivocally park the bus, but I would definitely wait for a clear advantage before I was gonna push out. Like there are a lot of really solid defensive setups here. I know there's more threats in Highlander, but I feel like definitely doable to hold last for 9 minutes if you wanted to, or at least long enough for your opponent to just frustrate themselves. I mean, it's actually been quite a while since Lotus Munching Angels have had a push on to last. I wonder, do they remember the mistakes they made last time? Are they rush into this? They might think they have a slight advantage here, and they do, but it's not one that you want to necessarily overcommit on a huge push to. But,
yeah.
I mean, from what I've seen from Leela so far, I'm not sure if she's going to be able to hold for 9 minutes. Doesn't have the protection at times, but other times just like poorly positioned or pops too early. So I don't think we're going to see a 9 minute stalemate in reality, but it is definitely an option.
Yeah, I mean, can't remember what the time was before the pause. It was really about like 8.5, 9 minutes. And I mean, this is a map that if you defend right, you can defend it well. We've so far seen a lot of pushes just coming out from River. I mean, I'd like to see the teams change things up a bit. There's a lot of different areas you can push in from. There's the slide door. There's coming in through main. You can even push all the way underneath and go through water. That's what my team did the other day. For one of our pushes, we tried to mix things up each time. And it seems both teams are opting for that kind of push through River straight into last and not really getting the frags when they do it. It's only worked out once for them, and that was the experiment when they eventually won the round. So I don't know, we'll have to see what they do here. The thing about holding last, I agree, you always run the risk of losing your demo or losing your medic, dropping your medic, something like that. And then that just opens up just a free onslaught for the other team, gives them a huge advantage. You don't really want to hand that advantage to the other team. And then it becomes harder to push out. But for LMA, it's starting to get to the position now where they're going to start taking more risks. I mean, they have to. If they don't, that's it. That's game over for them. And the more risky... It's like, that pub mentality. When you're playing in a pub and you played the map for 30 minutes and no one's pushed last because everyone's scared of dying. And then the announcer lady says, it's 30 seconds left to go. And everyone goes, oh, okay, and presses W and you win the round anyway. It's that kind of factor into competitive. And maybe LMA will start just, suiciding a little bit more.
Yeah, I think just pressing W at the same time probably the key to making a good push onto Gullywish. Like their first play here should probably be to trade the Ubers out. Like just go in, get the force, get out, and have all your players kind of chilling in the lobby, Riverside, whatever, but not really engaged, just like keeping their health so they have decent buffs. And if you can push immediately at the point after the Ubers have faded, and like perhaps the defenders are getting a little greedy and trying to poke out, if you can just go to that point where there's a little bit of confusion, if you're ready to go and just push together, like that alone can be enough just to get you the initial couple of picks that swing the man advantage in your favor. So just stay out of the fight initially is my advice to everyone else. If you're not the demo man or perhaps the scout, I don't know what their setup is here, just stay out of the initial Uber trade, stay alive. Like staying alive is half the battle in Team Fortress 2. It's even more important than getting frags just to stay alive, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about survival at times, isn't it? Just not making those mistakes that could result in the loss.
It's such a numbers game. I mean, as long as you're alive, you're a threat. As long as you're on the scoreboard and you're not grayed out, like the team has to consider you, your opponent has to consider you a threat. Like the numbers game is vital here, especially once the Uber is taken out, if they can get that successful trade. But we're looking at like a 5-minute pause here so far. I wonder, is it Joe and Layla continuing to have problems connection wise, or do you have any insider information, CeeJaey?
I don't. I mean, this is serious, Admirable. I mean, I'm not sure if you realise this is the Premiership qualifiers. Everyone's changed their names according to ETF2L rules, and they've gone offline on Steam. So no one's telling me anything. I have no idea what is going on. So we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, it's nothing too drastic that will change the course of the game. We would hate for a medic to disconnect at 100% Uber or anything like that. I probably just jinxed it, but we'll wait and see. So we were talking about players who stood out for us earlier. Who do you think needs to step it up for LMA at the moment in order for them? Because they're behind at the moment. They did well on Badwater, but they are 1-0 down at the moment. Who do you think on that team needs to kind of turn up an extra gear to get the victory on this map for them?
I feel like they're playing well, actually. It's probably just a matter of time. I'm kind of confused, actually, as to why Ekeland is top of the scoreboard whilst, Bam is laying down there kind of in mediocrity. Is that the mini-sentry shotgun play? Is it just superior from Ekeland? You say he's a scout main, maybe he's just missing it here where like the setups, the defensive setups are less important. It's more about contributing damage to your team and locking areas down, but he definitely seems to be farming points in some way. I don't know if he's got a sneaky teleporter up somewhere where he's just like managing to outscore Joe. I know Joe did actually drop from the server, that's a little unfair, but he's currently above the scoreboard with 10 points.
Yeah, as our hero High GPS would say, most of X-Men are out fragging their medic at the moment. As Layla's only got 20 points, but it is because of the reconnect, that's true. But maybe Ekeland's got a cheeky little teleporter at spawn, so every time I experiment at holding last, he's just, farming teleporter points to get to the top of the scoreboard. But to be fair, he's got 3 dominations, so he must be doing some work. I mean, maybe those minis. Crimer seems to be a key for LMA at the moment. And, if you can deny him from getting the bombs onto Layla, that's, you're halfway there to stopping losing your medic, and obviously that's a big deal. So maybe he's doing a lot of work on the flank. I'm being told by Emilio Besteves, that X-Wing has disappeared. So LMA are looking for their AWOL heavy at the moment. He's back now, John says, so we should be unpausing soon, which is terribly exciting, Admirable. I love nothing more than stalemates on Gullywash and Highlander.
I feel like their Milchman is kind of getting the edge over Thazu in this map. Although they both had little moments, but he's definitely woken up here on our final map. But there's a couple of players on LMA who I feel like have the potential to win the game for them. Obviously, I've seen Crima doing work, but Kaneko's kind of shown up as well this map to get a lot of med picks, even though I feel like Crima's been doing more in general. But if Crima, Keyless, and X-Wing can just get their game on and not get shut down by Joe, they can definitely get back into this round. I mean, there's still, I know that the announcer is saying there's only 60 seconds left, still 9 minutes, 30 seconds left in actual game time here.
That would suck if there was time counted. Sorry guys, 30 seconds left to go, see you in Prem. Not. But yeah, I mean, Thazu really kind of was doing so well on Warm Tick. We saw that he was just under Joe there to for top fragging, and then top fragged on Badwater. Went on some decent kill streaks, but Milchman is definitely turning it on in this game, on this map so far, and doing absolutely amazingly for his team. So, like we said earlier, it's a good sniper. It's a good map for sniper sightlines. Sometimes we even see in 6s sniper being used on like mid fights and such. So it's not surprised that he's doing well, but definitely doing a lot for his team. And it's all going to be about whether he can hold. He's holding this right side of the point at the moment. Probably going to be watching into the river area. That's where Thazu is at the moment, covered in P, which must be Milchman's P. And we do have the unpause, so we are underway now. But yeah, here we go. We have arcades with oh no, we got another pause. It's just teasing us, Admirable. It's just teasing us.
It's a good sign though, it's the little mini unpause to allow a player or players to reconnect to the server. So I get the feeling that the game might actually be underway in real time. I hope there's another little unpause coming in.
It might be just a little unpause to let X-Wing back in, the pause, unpause. Let's go.
So let's take a look at the state of the game right now. Look at this clump of players from LMA, all just gathered up on the stairs. Trooper's looking directly at them, disguised as Scout here. And they mightn't be aware that this is a spy. I mean, Blues is actually way back on middle, so there's no... Oh, it looks like the server's gone down here. I see up top right, it says connection problem. And STV just dropped.
I think the server has crashed.
Changing level, it says. What's happening? We're going to upward?
Well, could be. Just Gullywash. Who cares about Gullywash? Just have a different map. Well, they banned upward. So we'd have to go to something like, I don't know, Reservoir? Something fun and exciting. Stand-in. I haven't played that in years. I mean...
Product?
Yeah, I mean, so let's forget about this game, because I'm sure there's technical issues and we'll have to sort it out. As far as I was aware, LMA had Uber and were about to push into last. And I think Experiment had it as well. But looking at on your knowledge of Prem, Admirable, how do you think these two teams would stack up against the rest of the teams currently already qualified in Prem this season?
I have no idea. I need to go and actually look at the teams who are in Prem, but I believe Stacked are playing, so obviously no team could stand up to them. So I imagine it's just stacked way up at the top of Prem, and then all the way down there's 7 other teams. That's how I reckon it's going to be. Is that accurate?
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't argue. Stacked are definitely in Prem.
We have Beep.
You have Beep. Yeah, Beep is your leader and captain and engineer main. Did you know he plays engineer now? Are you that up to date with your team?
Sure. Do you remember we played in the Showmatch Deutschland? He was playing NG back then. That was a couple of months ago.
Long time ago. I've won a Highlander LAN since then, Admirable. I mean, slept since then. That's too long.
He was playing NG back then.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
He was playing NG last season as well, to be fair. I think he swapped halfway through the season.
It's like you try and figure out what class can he have the least impact on. How can we have him still in the team but not really dragging us down? And I guess they decided to put him in NG. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, there are some good teams in Prem this season. We've got, so far, the list going down from the top, because we do have a show, a little bit of promotion, I guess, on this channel, BlackOut Gaming TV, tomorrow at 22 CST, or CT. I believe it's at 22. There'll be the pre-season Highlander talk show, which I'll be hosting along with some other Highlander leaders. Beep will be there, Hilldrift will be there, Scissors will be there, and some other big names in the Highlander community. And we'll be talking and going over the teams for the upcoming season, talking about what we think is going to happen, a little bit of exclusivity, talking about the rosters that the teams are expected to play with, final rosters. Talk about maps and unlocks. It's going to be amazing. Amazing and admirable. That's what it's going to be.
I'm going to change my name to Amazable. I like that.
But yeah, so far we've got Tourette's Chess Club, who double winners, current holders. We've got High Panda, Premtech are folded, so they're no longer with us. But we've also got Stacked, Fair Enough, Wasp, Unpoppable, Strong Opinions, and whoever wins this game, which is on a knife edge at the moment. We have, as we can see them talking in chat, they're just discussing at the moment. Everyone getting back into the server, just discussing. There's about 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes to go left on the clock, and 1-0 to the Experiment on this final map. So whoever wins it will be joining those 7 other teams in Prem next season. the team that loses will be fighting out in high with a bunch of other teams, with teams like Danger Gummy Bears, who lost to LMA earlier on in the playoff brackets. So yeah, we'll have to see as we try to work out how to restart this game in a fair and nice manner.
Yeah, I think these the experiment snakes are trying to just go to a mid fight rather than be put back in that stranglehold on their last with the Uber advantage, etc. Kaneko is complaining here that he has to go, but the more he flaps those lips, the more of his own time he's wasting. They should just sort of reset to the previous game state.
Well, I was told last night that Kronos, who is medic for another team in high, was going to be playing for LMA, and then it will change as Arcades was able to play, but then maybe Arcades needs to leave if the game goes on for too long. So I don't know. Maybe some of these players need to go. I don't know if they have bedtimes or
it's Halloween.
They're going out trick or treating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, Admirable. Have a spooky night.
But,
I've drawn the curtains and stuck a sign out saying, "Go away, I don't want children knocking my door."
It's supposed to be a religious festival until the Americans just turned it into some commercial festival. It's ridiculous.
You gotta make money of it, you know. It's cool. Too many kids down my road. Too many kids down my road who they don't work at the school I work at. They go to the school, they learn. But they're like, "Oh, sir, can I have some chocolate?" No. Casting Highlander, that's more important. What else could be more important on a Saturday night as we wait for these two teams?
What are we doing with our lives? Oh my god. Sitting in here on a Saturday night, Halloween, casting Highlander. We're not even in fancy dress. Are you? Are you in fancy dress?
I am, yeah.
Oh.
I got my Select
JoeN!
Spencer outfit on.
Why didn't you tell me this was a fancy dress party? I feel so embarrassed having come here in my civvies. I don't know if they can hear you on stream, John, but oh well.
John is just absolutely being disgusting, and it's just not audible for the Twitch chat to listen to. But we have got 9 versus 9 now. I'm sorry for my previous statement. My dog slipped on my keyboard. Is something in the chat, so I'm guessing that's important to the discussion of how to restart this game. But yeah, so they're just trying to discuss how to restart this game. We did have 8 minutes to go, so less than 10 minutes to go. The pressure must be getting to these two teams. Admirable, you've played at the top level. You've played at the top level in some other game modes. Like, I know Highlander's like the best TF2 game mode, but there's another one like 6s versus 6s or something. I mean, you've played that as well. I mean,
the 12-man game is also good.
Oh, 12s, is that what you call it? Okay.
I've played a few seasons of that.
You've played at
high
level.
pressure
I mean,
games. Yeah, sure.
What's the pressure going to be like for these two teams?
They can both, be proud of themselves to have made it an honest fight here. A best of 3 series, they've taken a map each. But like, it kind of sucks for LMA. They were really in a advantageous position there. They were getting ready to tie the game up 1-1. They were looking to make an uber advantage push, right? Still had 9 minutes on the clock, and now like their whole momentum, their whole their energy and their team is just kind of dissipated with this 10-minute pause and then another 10 minutes to get the game reset. And they seem to have gone live here, but I don't know if they're just gonna like go and cap middle and then build an Uber or whatever, or are they just going? Is this it? Are we actually live here?
I think so. I mean, looks like we're live, restarting from the midpoint. If that's considered fair, I'm not sure, but we're carrying on anyway as Joe takes down Kalis, but then gets headshot himself by Thazu. A big jump in again from Crimer, lands the rockets and takes down Layla, just like the first mid-fight we saw on this map. And a great play there by Crimer. They do manage to lose the midpoint here as Experiment have capped it out, but they've only got 4 players alive. Arcade's got a headshot there by Milchman, so Experiment have the midpoint, but they're not really pushing too far forward. Bloodis is trying to get in there, but then manages to take down Thazu, and Bam also gets taken down as well. He was too far forward. But LMA are trying to stop this second point. And it looks like we are underway.
Yeah, so they just took a mid fight for some reason. Like, I think like under the rules they should have reset the game to the state it was. It wasn't hard to calculate, but anyway, they finally just decided to play, and I guess it is currently still 1-0 to the Experiment playing in blue. LMA need to try and make something happen in the next 9 minutes, or they're going to be playing in high.
Yeah, Layla goes down there. She's in the respawn queue for another 10 seconds. Not sure why that happened or how that happened. But the advantage is in the hands of LMA now. Arcade's at 75%. This is their chance. Layla is still down, and there's no heals on anybody for the Experiment. Why are they not pushing? They should be walking through now. And they could have saved that Uber for second point, but they're waiting. Arcade has 100%. Layla is back now and healing her team at her choke. And LMA can't be this passive if they want to secure their place in Prem. They need to get around to at least tie this game up to 1-1 and take it to a golden cap. Otherwise the Experiment will be the ones going through, and we're still waiting for LMA to make a move. As they're waiting, I'm not sure if do they realise Layla doesn't have Uber? This is so very passive from a team that needs to get around on the board, Admirable.
Thazu trying to find a frag to grant them entry to middle, gets downed by their Milchman. X-Wing retreating here with Arcade, so they're actually going to rotate around towards Big Door, but that's not going to necessarily make it any easier. Oh, Kayla is finding the pick onto their Milchman, taking that birthright out. They're going to pop off their charge here, and Leela doesn't actually have hers yet for another few seconds. It has managed to survive long enough to get it up, and Kaneko is just waiting to release that conch. Has done so, but they don't choose to push off it. Like, they definitely could have gone in there, but I guess they're trying to grind it out and run that clock down. I don't know.
Well, LMA have captured the midpoint, but the advantage is now in the hands of Layla. She's at 100% with Arcade's only at 40. Blues is getting aggressive, does force it with that Misha onto Joe. But the Pyro there, Jedi Master, is just going to push them back. Roban does take him down, but finally Experiment have forced their way through. But the backstab from Elizabeth takes down Roban and gets a lot of distraction done onto the combo. LMA need to be working onto that, need to be walking into the choke now, as Experiment are falling back towards the big door. And LMA really need to move this into a high gear. They need to get a rocket up their arse, Admirable. They need to do something about this. They are capping the second point. They do have 100%. They have this advantage, and we're kind of back to a situation where we were before. But no, the Uber is used by Arcades onto Kalis. There's nothing for him to kill here other than Ekelund, and he can't even kill him. He's got his axe out. Jedi Master is going to use the flare gun to take him down. But Uber advantage for Layla again, holding on last with 75%. And, well, we've got 2.5 minutes, and that's going to decide who goes through to Prem, Admirable.
Real momentum here for LMA. Kryman jumping onto the point, turning heads. Kalis is trying to walk forward.
Oh, this was on the point!
Get the
oh my
foresight.
God! Kalis just came in from water, stuck Sticky's down on the point to kill 2 people, and then everyone walked away after he died, and Eliza walked onto the point and got it so close to capping. But Uber advantage is now with Arcades. And Layla used her Uber for some reason to try and block that point. And LMA have a big chance here if they can keep their players alive and use this Uber versus non-Uber to their advantage. Who knows what could happen in the next minute?
It's 2 minutes remaining on the clock here. Like, it's such a poor decision. We know that the game was paused at 9:30, yet they only put 7 minutes 30 on the clock on the reset. I don't understand. Like, they just... The whole decision totally went against LMA, but they seem to be making a go of it anyway. They are unperturbed and they're getting ready to go here with this charge. Their Milchman going to kill off X-Wing though, and the Uber is being slowed down here so much so that Leela is just going to have enough time to get her own charge up. It is 6 versus 6 here, but LMA continue to hemorrhage players, and they just need to go for frags when they have the charge. Like, go in and focus targets down, call them out, and kill them. They're wasting their own time here. 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Sorry, CeeJaey.
You could see the sniper. That's fine, Admirable. That's more than okay. But there was a sniper dot on the wall as they were pushing in. Someone should have noticed that and realised that whoever was not Ubered was going to get headshot, and maybe just led in with scout and a demo, something like that. But Thazu has gone down. Arcades has gone down. There is no heals for LMA. 100% Uber for Layla. all she really needs to do in this less than 60 seconds to go is pop that Uber and keep her players alive on the point, and it will not be capped unless something drastic happens now. Layla dropping down now to behind the point, which is probably a good idea as she's just on that point now. Can keep her heavy and her pyro alive. Once that Uber, nothing is going to get onto that point. Coming up to 30 seconds left is kind of close. It's almost as close as the Badwater game, but LMA really needs to do something absolutely miraculous here to bring up a round.
Leela like bumped into Elizal there, but I don't think she realised it. He's just waiting to come in, looking for that backstab. Leela drops onto the point. She knows there's very little time left. Going to be able to pop off this charge. It's going to leave a very, very small window of time in which they can actually cap this, but like with Kaneko and his team buffs there with the conscience, like there's really not a hope in hell here for LMA. And it says stalemate here, but it is in fact 1-0 to the experiment on anti-climax.
I was disappointed there. I mean, Jennifer Master came in from the
there's still 2 minutes left, but they set the wrong time for some reason.
Minutes.
Who's adminning this fucking tournament?
This is are we done? Are we playing more?
What did
I have no idea.
Like, it was definitely 9 minutes 30, because like whenever the game pauses thanks to status stick, I can see how long the pause lasts, and like, wow, are they even listening to the stream? Hello.
Yeah, I mean, people have left from both teams.
Replay. I demand a rematch.
Yeah, start from 0-0. Start it again. You know, let's have some more. Let's have some more Gullywash Highlander. I'm just. I mean, there's a lot. Apparently, Apparently, LMA were the ones who set the time, so you know. I suppose that doesn't leave them with much to stand on if they're the ones disputing the time.
Alright,
there's
get
a lot
back
of
into high LMA.
So there we go. Final team, the 8th and final team to be in Prem for next season will be The Experiment. And Lotus Munching Angels will be playing in high as they've lost out. They got one step away from getting to Prem, but they've missed out at the final hurdle. Admirable, do you think that's a fair outcome from, despite all of the issues and the problems we've had, do you think, based on the gameplay we've seen, do you think that's a fair result?
Yeah, well, like, I was back in The Experiment for the third map there. I thought they would have the edge. I thought it was going to be because of Joe, but actually, Milchman stepped up, so did Kaneko, found a lot of med picks. I know the log's going to be kind of messed up for this one, so I can't really back any of that up with data, but that's the way I felt about the game anyway, so I'm not surprised. But I just, like, I abhor uncompetitiveness. Like, the fact, this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, the LMA, like, had that advantageous situation where they were ready to push last with an Uber advantage, and they didn't get that in the reset, but then they also took 2 minutes off their own game time remaining. I don't want to play this game anymore.
Well, you will be playing Admirable. You are Medic in Prem next season, and you'll be playing The Experiment at some point, I'm sure. So yeah, so our final lineup for Prem next season will be Tourette's Chess Club, High Panda, Stacked, Fair Enough, Wasp, Unpoppable, Strong Opinions, and The Experiment. Having won their playoff qualifier 2-1, 2 maps to 1, winning this really, really close Gullywash. I agree with what you said about Milchman. He really turned it on. There are no logs for that first kind of big chunk of the game, obviously because the server crashed. I'm not sure if anyone's able to retrieve those logs, but for the final kind of 7 minutes, he top fragged with 9 kills. So he really did a lot of work for his team getting those key picks.
He's in his drama.
There's their drama now.
Yeah, Keels
I love drama.
Has kicked X-Wing out of the ETF2L team 2 minutes ago on their team page. Apparently he's going mad. We think we need some sort of interview here, CeeJaey. You need to get to the bottom of this. John's
the guy behind the scenes. We need people. I jumped in when I played my game on Wednesday. I jumped in for the interview. I wanted my chance to gloat. So where's Joe and Layla? Gotta round them up. I mean, get some backstory on some of these decisions. Apparently, X-Wing's only playing for playoffs. There's an American heavy called Sharp Shot McGee who is supposed to play as their main for the Prem season. So I don't know. We want some interviews. I'm going to see if I can round some people up. Oh, so we got Joe and Roban coming. Hopefully we can get someone from LMA as well to get a bit of a balanced argument onto it.
How about ETF2L admin made that decision in here as well?
Ooh,
I want to grill them.
controversial.
Bring me Kakelti. I want his head on a platter.
We have got Roban. Welcome to Roban into the Mumble, and congratulations for winning. That didn't go maybe as easily as Saloon, or maybe you guys thought it would go. How happy are you guys that you've won?
Well, I think we would have won in 2 maps if the Badwater was best of 3, but it was best of 1. So
yeah, best of 1 does kind of leave it up to the single plays there. Was there any worry once they took Badwater that they may be able to take Gully Wash?
yeah, of course, like Joe was under mental breakdown and shit, but people just need to chill.
We have got Joe here as well. Congratulations, Joe, on reaching Prem with the experiment. So, same question that I said to Roban. Was there any kind of doubts in your mind? Because you guys were the overwhelming favourites, not just on Saloon, but by kind of teams who played you. I mean, I personally thought you guys were going to take it quite comfortably. You guys have been around for a lot longer. But was there ever any doubt in your mind? They went 1-0 up on Warm Tick, and they took Badwater, and was there any moment where you were getting a little bit worried?
No, not really. It was just on Badwater. We did some really stupid mistakes of what we shouldn't have done, and then it went down to the last 30 seconds, and it should have been a lot easier for us on Badwater. Gollywash, have only played Gollywash 2 times, so doesn't really make a difference.
Admirable did say it was a bit of the Joe show during Warm Tick. He went huge with the crits. They get about 720 damage per minute. Did you have any kind of tactics for Badwater, or do you just, like Roban said, it was down to the fact that it was just a best of 1? Do you think it was best of 3 you would have taken as well?
Yeah, I think it was a best of 3. We would have taken it pretty easily. We probably would have learned from our mistakes. It was just the way we lost it. We just didn't hold it long enough.
Wait, is it a best of 1 anyway? It seems like a bit of a coin toss.
I think it was on.
Fault. Just blame Bloodus.
I think it was the admin's decision that that was a best of 3, that normally was a best of 3, like a load or something like that, or a gravel pit, was only a best of 1, because if you have a best of 3 maps with all 3 maps that are best of 3, it will go on for too long. I think everything should be a best of 3, but
it's up to the teams, man. They're fighting for Prem state here. Nothing more important than that, right?
Yeah, I think if the map was CP Steel, it could be over in fucking 3 minutes or something.
Well, we did see gravel pit the other day between LMA and DGB, and I think LMA capped in about 2.5 minutes, so the map was over within 10 minutes, and it was all done quite quickly. So on that respect, I think maybe giving it a best of 3 would have been more kind of bit more fair. But going back to you guys, coming up to playing Prem next season, I know there were some interviews done by Prof earlier on talking about next season. But how do you guys think you're going to fare up against the rest of the Prem? Because we now know all 8 teams that are going to be in Prem next season. Do you guys feel comfortable that you can compete with everybody else?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we'll probably come 5th or 4th. I don't think we'll see if we can contest the top 3, but I think if it's whatever maps pick we get, I guess, on if we play Steel or GP against Highlander or Stacked or Strong Opinions, it's just whatever weeks we get against each team, what will change our standings, I guess, in the table.
That's true, Roban. I mean, you won Prem last season with Des, but you're playing a different class now. You're a heavy main now. Do you think your experience is going to be invaluable to the team when it comes to match days in Prem?
No. I played quite bad as medic, but I play even worse as heavy. So So I'm just gonna rely on Joe carrying us.
I was going to say, is that wise to say with your team leader present?
That's fine. I love Roban, so it's all good.
You need to look for those soldiers, Robin. That's your one job, man. Joe can kill everyone else, but you gotta kill those bombers.
Yeah, like, I don't know, I'm just getting fucked by snipers all the time, especially in Warmtic. Like, I think I got one frag during the first 2 rounds or something.
That was my first time seeing Wormtic as well. Are you guys looking forward to playing it again this season? Is it part of the map pool? Or I assume it is.
Yeah, it is. It's like one of our favourite maps, so we enjoy it a lot. Better
Is
than
crits your standard on there?
No, I rather run Uber than crits. I hate crits. I only use it just in case if we have to. If the time is down like 1 minute or like 2 minutes, and we need to actually try and get the point back. Try and put pressure on them again.
Just to go off on a tangent here, CeeJaey. I'm not one to stir up drama, but let me read out this chat log that Mista posted in Twitch chat. He's talking to X-Wing and he says, WTF, why did he kick you? And X-Wing says, 'cause Keyless is mad, kid. Playing with this guy is so AIDS. He was supposed to main call and we had full advantage. We was thinking, what should we do with it? That's where the log ends. I don't know if there's more drama to it, but it's a cliffhanger.
It is indeed, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Hopefully that doesn't mean the end of LMA and that they will be competing in high left season, because if they fold, if anyone folds, there's an uneven amount of teams in high, and that screws up with the scheduling, and you know that's just the worst. That's the loser when it comes to teams folding. But going back to the game, was there how well do you think LMA, coming from you two guys, Joe and Roban, having played against them, how do you think those guys are going to do in high next season compared to the rest of the teams that you maybe have played in high?
I think they'll probably they'll probably be top. Yeah, I don't know. They'll probably be like top 3.
Top 3 or top 5 at least.
Yeah.
Well, with the absence of anyone from LMA joining us, Admirable, unless you've got anything else to say? You got any more drama cooking up?
I'm just opening up the Prem table here for the first time to see who are these scrubs. I see Raptor is in a team, so they're obviously going to lose. Strong Opinions, is that? Oh, that's your team. You playing with the Raptor? Rest in peace, CeeJaey.
I was guardian for him at 2 lands. I mean, I'm used to dealing with him by now. It's okay.
Stacked have F2, so they're clearly going to win. And they'll have me as well, if all goes to plan.
That's if you turn up for any scrims, Admirable. I mean, it's been months, man. It's been months.
I just love to, string beep along. I'm a cock tease. But Hildreth is Hildreth still playing for Highlander?
He is. It's a new look Highlander.
Alright then, Hildreth's gonna win. That's it. Job done. Chess Club, they're decent too, okay. Them two in the final. Highlander, Chess Club. Nothing changes.
Alright, well, we will be actually talking about all 8 teams tomorrow. We have the pre-season talk show on Highlander, so we'll be talking with myself, people like Scissors and Hildreth, and I'm forgetting names, but there'll be lots of Highlander leaders there. We'll all be talking about the upcoming season, about the teams, about the fixtures, about the maps and the unlocks, and giving you guys a bit of insight into the rosters for other teams and who we think are going to be doing well and who do we think are going to be doing not so well. But for now, this was the final playoff game qualifier for Prem. The Experiment winning 2 maps to 1 against Lotus Munching Angels. I'm just going to go down now for anyone with some shout-outs. Joe, do you have anyone you want to shout out to?
Yeah, just shout out to my team. That's about it.
Robin, any shout-outs?
Well, of course, the normal My Finnish Circle Jerk. That's all.
And Admirable?
Shout out to BlackOut JoeN.
Alright, and then shout out to my team. strong opinions, contrary to Admiral's belief. I think we're going to do okay next season. And also thanks to Admirable for casting with me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. And to John for doing all the work behind the scenes. Does so much work for Highlander. And everyone should definitely
Wait,
appreciate.
do you want to hear my harmonica?
Thank you for the harmonica. And also shout outs to TF2Pickup.net for Highlander pickups and Sixes pickups, all sorts of games, and also to Marketplace.tf who are sponsoring the upcoming Highlander season. As far as I'm aware, we will be back tomorrow on this channel, BlackOut Gaming TV, for the pre-season talk show about ETF2L Season 9 of Highlander. So join me and a lot of other people to talk about some Highlander and see our opinions on some of the upcoming games. But for now, I've been CeeJaey with Admirable and John, and we'll see you next time.
Sleeping alone, and I've been eating alone, hiding under the stairs, even though no one's home. And if you're living in the daylight, or living underground, they're sending a message that someone's watching. I don't care if someone's watching. The sirens watch through the screen. He hatched thoughts at the supermarket, never crossed the sea. With the cameras hanging on plastic rings, he always had the feeling that someone's watching. And now she's sleeping alone, and now she's eating alone, hiding under the stairs, even though no one's home.